I want to hear your 9/11 conspiracy theories or your theories or what you think really happened. This is 570 News. Kevin in Waterloo. Kevin, what do you think?
Well, I'm suspicious about the third tower that didn't get hit by planes, that also collapsed. Was not on fire. It's building number 7, the shorter tower. Kind of fell down later in the day, same day, at free fall speed like the other two, which I noticed. Mm-hmm. And even some of the news guys were commenting on it, and then the story quickly changed in the weeks afterwards. That's a big one for me, because I also know other stories of a skyscraper in Los Angeles that burnt for 5 days, and it's refurbished and fully occupied today. So as far as the planes taking down the two big ones, well, what brought down the little guy?
Well, maybe something that fell off the big one on the roof of the little guy. Wow. I don't know, but no, I'm not even going to question what you're saying because that is your point of view.
Sure. So there was some damage to Building 7.
Absolutely, from Tower 1.
And now NIST, do you know what NIST tells us about that damage from Tower 1 to Building 7? They say no significant factor at all. This building collapsed due to normal office fires.
Paul in Kitchener, what do you think?
Well, it's like the other gentleman said about the third building. That's the smoking gun. It went down in 7 seconds. And it housed the U.S. military police, it housed FBI, CIA, and your friendly neighborhood Israeli Mossad. So why would this thing go down like this for no reason? It wasn't hit anywhere. It just went down. Everybody's saying it's a demolition, so...
You know what? Let me ask you about that, buddy. I checked with implosion demolition guys, okay? For the Twin Towers alone, they estimate it would take 15 months with 400 men to go through that building, put those timed explosions in like they do, and wire it. Now, where did they hide the wires? How many guys did they get in there 24 hours a day to do this? That's a question you have to ask yourself, too. I mean, how did they bring it down with implosion? How did they do it without 15 months at least advance working, and no one knew about it? I mean, no one working 24 hours a day there?
I'm talking about the third building.
And the third building was supposed to have been one of those buildings that was explosives in the walls, too. That's what you're suggesting. How did it fall?
That's right.
So if they took 3 or 4, but let me, Paul, if they took 3 or 4 months to do that building, no one saw it? So I'm just asking you to look at that question and think about it.
Who was a director in the company that provided electronic security for the World Trade Center and Washington's Dulles Airport, both involved in September 11th? None other than the president's younger brother. From 1996 to 2000, Securacom installed what was referred to as a new security system at the World Trade Center. Wirt D. Walker III, a cousin of the Bush brothers, was CEO of Securacom from 1999 until 2002. Interestingly, these facts have not been made public. Scott Forbes, an IT specialist in a firm that had leased space in the South Tower since its erection, reported an unprecedented power down in his building for almost the whole weekend prior to 9/11.
We were notified 3 weeks in advance of the power down by the Port Authority. That was relatively short notice to plan to shut down all of our banking systems. It was a big deal. It was unprecedented. We had a data center on the 97th floor, so our originating servers were all there. During that weekend, the power down meant that there was no security. The doors were all open, basically, and also the security video cameras were all off. But there were guys in overalls carrying huge toolboxes and reels of cables walking around the building on that weekend.
Employees were notified that internet cables were being upgraded.
All the power was shut down. If there was a power down, that meant that everything was gone in terms of security, in terms of access to the building, so anybody could have gone there and do any kind of setup.
Andy, you'll probably get the last word on this in Palmerston. Go ahead, Andy.
Well, Jeff, if you build a scale model in the same ratio that those Twin Towers were, you put the base in concrete, and you apply a force equivalent to what the airplane hit, it would never go down like an implosion, like an explosion, like it was set by charges. And I never believed in the conspiracy theory, but when I heard and saw what happened to that third building that was demolished, the other buildings went down in the same manner. So, you know, whether you have high explosives, and you can't believe the military and Pentagon, the U.S., because they withhold and hide information. It just seemed like those in 1947 when that UFO crashed. The fellow revealed
when
it.
That UFO passed? So you were there in 1947, Andy? I know I've met you. You're pretty old. I mean, okay. I'll tell you. As soon as you said the UFO thing, I'm taking another caller. Andy, that's okay. Some people believe that too. We're talking about Roswell, New Mexico. Look, you know what? I'm just asking you to think of this, right? I am not above thinking that the U.S. government, just like a lot of you, it must have been that Dick Cheney guy. That's why he had so many heart attacks. It was the stress of trying to destroy his own country. And President Bush was so stupid, he went along with it. And then the Pentagon took over. And then one of those military companies, contractors, helped them. Look, it's going to take this is from professionals. It would take 15 months to wire those buildings perfectly. But I want to tell you something else, too. It only takes 1,600 degrees to melt steel. Jet fuel and the fire in that building was 5,000 degrees. One floor burns, it melts, it falls on the one below it. And that weight falls on the one below that. And then the one below that.
Initially, you had news reports saying, well, this was the plane, the jet fuel melted the steel. And somehow that steel then ends up in a pool. Well, first of all, that won't explain Building 7, which wasn't hit by a plane. Yeah. No plane, no jet fuel. Okay. So where'd the molten metal come from? These fires, it doesn't matter if it's diesel fuel, office materials, including paper, or jet fuel, they aren't hot enough to melt steel, these structural steel beams. To melt it requires approximately 1,530 centigrade, about 2,800 Fahrenheit. You can't heat the steel long enough with these fires to melt it.
You know something? Let me say what I have to say about conspiracy theories. Sometimes Jack and Jill just walk up the hill to fetch a pail of water. It's not always Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of heavy water to make an atomic bomb. Sometimes they just went up the hill, okay? All right. 9/11. Oh, gosh. And I still have had people trickling in, little emails telling me that I should get the facts and I should tell all you people and do the right thing. And it's mainstream media like us that it's screwing the world. And we should all go to the internet because, nothing is ever incorrect on the internet. I keep telling you, look, I'm going to tell you one more time, right? People in the mainstream big networks, the 24-hour cable news networks and stuff, they don't have somebody telling them what they can and can't do. All right? If there's a story, and right now when they're all worried about losing their jobs, and when other people that are freelance and who put things like blogs and stuff on the internet want a job, if there was a story they could prove, it'd be out there. And you know what? I'm going to be the first one to be the town crier to do that. But just as I say, unanswered questions do not a conspiracy make.
stories that are selected primarily to upset liberals and Democrats and prop up the Republican Party. You have a hostility towards guests that disagree with the host. And you have a host who, in service of his conservative politics,